Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So in this video we're going to have a discussion about how to do revision correctly. And there is a reason why I say correctly, because people think that revision is an extra exercise along with their manifestation, and they think that it's something else that they have to do. But in reality, revision is done on a day-to-day basis. Okay, now I want to read to you something from Isaiah 43:19. Okay, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Now, this quote from Isaiah 43:19 is speaking about revision and dwelling where? At the new and not in the past. Now, I want to say to you this. Why I said to do revision correctly. Let me give you an example. And you will see why I said it this way. Now, think of a person that you know and that you have not seen, let's say, in 5 years. Now, when I say this to you, more likely, you're going to say this person to me. Let's say if we speak together now, you're going to say to me, you're going to describe this person as the way you remember them from 5 years ago, isn't it? Yes. This is what I mean by doing revision correctly. Let me start with the examples. And as I do the examples, your consciousness, your awareness will switch and will have full understanding of how you from now on will do revision always correctly. Example with my personal, I have many personal cases, but this one is good one. My child, my 11 years old child, I noticed that I was saying to my child, do your room. Now, I was saying her name. Do your room, do your room, do your room. And she was saying, oh, mommy, I don't know. I don't want to do it now. I don't want to do it now. And I remembered that I'm not doing correctly the things. Okay. Now, listen to this. You're saying to your child, do your room, tidy up your room. Okay? They go to school, so the child goes to school. And you are thinking about them in the same way. They haven't changed. They haven't done their room. Do you see what I'm saying? So, this person that we're speaking about, the revision process itself. So, we're using the example of human being, another human being. They are not in front of you. However, you're saying about them, they haven't changed. They haven't done their room. Let me give you the example with myself, the story that I want to share with you. I was saying this to my child few months ago. Do your room, tidy up your room, tidy up your room. And one day I awaked like that and I said to myself, this is not the way to do it. I need to do it mentally. So I imagined that my daughter's room is very well tidied up and that she likes to do it. I saw her having enjoyable time doing her tidy up. That was it. Now, the same day, she went to school. And do you know what happened? When they went to school with all the children, she said to me when she came back, "Mommy, we had a challenge with my friends that we are going to have this challenge of tidy up our rooms and keep it tidy." And because they have a WhatsApp group with their friends, they're sharing, pictures of before and after and things like that. And she said, "We are now in this challenge and I need to keep my room tidy." You may say that this is coincidence, but I know that it's not. Okay? She did her room, and since then the room is looking really nice. Now, what I mean with this example is this. Revision. You always do revision. You always do revision. You're just doing it incorrectly. Let me give you the example again with myself and with my child. What I was doing before, I was saying, "Do your room, do your room, do your room." I was saying it verbally to her. But mentally, I was thinking, her room is not tidy. She is not doing it. So my actual revision, I was revisiting the thing in the same way. And it was ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. Do you see what I mean? So in reality, from the minute you wake up, you're always doing a revision of something. We just don't call it revision. And the minute I decided to actually switch my mindset about the situation, she likes to do the room is completely tidy, the situation changed. So what I mean by saying doing revision correctly is that you are always exercising your revision power. You're always doing a revision. You're never not doing a revision. Because with the example I gave you with another person, give to me, whoever is watching now, my viewers, give me a description of a person that you know from 5 years ago that you haven't seen for a long time. You are going to describe them as the way you remember them from 5 years ago. And this is also a revision. You are revisiting them as the way you remember them. Now, this is why I say to you, doing a revision correctly is using your God energy power and your human state of awareness, thinking only from the ideal. With the example I give you, my daughter's room is perfect. It's perfectly tidy. She enjoys doing it. And I just made a very quick visual of probably 5 seconds, seeing her enjoying doing her room. And that changed the whole situation. Another revision. So before I continue with the examples, so basically, revision is you not verbally speaking to people what they need to do. Do this, do that. No, not necessarily. But you going back in your mind and seeing the situation from an ideal perspective for all parties involved. Let's say someone hit your car. Just an example. You are seeing your car that there is a scratch or something. Now, you can see that this never happened. Well, people will say to me, "Oh, but listen, when you look at something and you leave it as it is, in your mental state, in your awareness, it's very likely that it will come in another way. It's very likely. That's why we have people who have always stuck in a rush hour. They're always late. That's why we see people always late. That's why we see people always. There are certain patterns that they create, but this pattern is not physical. The pattern first exists in the mental plane, in the mental state, in the awareness. So if there is something that you don't like, immediately say it the way you want it to be. Example with the car, with your vehicle. You have a scratch? No, I see it. It's perfectly fine. Giving you an example with my hair. My hair. I used to say that on this side, on the left side of my hair, I see a little curl. By the way, my hair used to be curly. I manifested straight hair. Just to say. But I will make another video on how to manifest physical changes. So I would see my hair the way I wanted to see it. Now there could be a little curl, and I can see it in the camera. I will imagine it the way I want it to be, and I will move forward. I will not notice that now in the camera. I will move forward with my awareness, and I'll just imagine that this stays the way I want it to stay on my hair, that piece of hair. Another example. The other day, I was in my daughter's school. I was waiting in the reception, and there was a teenager, and I could see the way he was behaving. Like he was behaving in that kind of way where children, they have a certain attitude, and he was not in his uniform, and there was a social worker involved. And I imagined this teenager, seeing him in a very well-dressed way with his uniform, smiling. And I saw a teacher that I know from the school, and I saw this teacher, this is all in my imagination, and I saw this teacher praising him for his high grades. So immediately I did that with this teenager. And I know, because I know that I changed him in my mind. I know that those changes will occur. They will happen. I know it. It's done. Okay? So again, you're always doing a revision. Now, with the example I gave you with the teenage boy, if I know, let's say with my husband, if I now come back at home and I go to my husband and I say the story of this teenage boy, and I say, I've seen a teenage boy, he was having an attitude at my daughter's school, la 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 la, and I don't change that story in my mind, I'm still doing a revision. So I'm speaking the story the way I see it, which was not ideal. And this is what? It's still a revision, because this particular moment of the day no longer exists. Where it exists, I'm revisiting that story. Where? In my mind, verbally. You see? So this is a revision. You are revisiting a moment that no longer exists. But instead, listen, instead of you saying that moment or that person or that circumstance, whatever, the way it was, you are speaking it or imagine it the way it has to be, the way you want it to be, the ideal way. This is the correct revision, guys. Again, this statement, this quote from the Bible, from the Isaiah 43:19, is exactly about revision. So do not dwell on the past. Meaning, when you do revision, you don't look on the past as the way it was, unless it's the way you wanted it to be. Okay? I am doing a new thing. So you, with your I am awareness, with your God presence in you, because you have those three components, God energy, human mind, and body, those three components existing in you. I am, the God energy in you, is doing a new thing with your human mind. And now, the now moment springs up. And you perceive that new way of the new story. Because the old, what happened with the old, it dissolved, no longer exists. The past no longer exists unless you revisit the past in the way it was. Okay? That's it. That is the way you need to do revision. See something and don't say it. Don't reimagine it the way it was, unless it's the way you wanted it to be. But say it the way you want that story to be. Oh, my car is perfect. There is no scratch. If you go somewhere outside and there is queue, you're in a shopping center or something and there is a queue and you don't want to be on a queue. I don't see people in front of me. I'm the first on the queue. I'm paying now. There are no people in front of me. The same with your bank account. I don't know. You may see 500 in your bank account on your online app. You can see now with your imagination, with your revision power, you can see 500 millions. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to be happy about that. You don't have to be sad about, because a lot of people involve feelings. A lot of people who teach you manifestation, they teach you that you need to have certain feelings about your manifestation, and that's not the case. Okay? Because you what? Because you have those three components. The God energy, the human mind, which is your day-to-day mind, and the body. So those feelings are part of the human perception that has nothing to do with your manifestation powers. Another example, let me think of another example. Body and skin, and in just the body. I mentioned that in a short video. After my second child was born, immediately I imagined, that my belly is completely flat. Completely flat. I imagined myself, seeing myself in front of the mirror and seeing no belly whatsoever. And that was the case. And my midwife made a comment on that. She said to me, I've never seen a woman giving childbirth and having a flat stomach immediately after that. She made a comment. She was amazed. Because this body that we have is a projection of your mind, of the content of your mind. Okay? So a lot of the things we deal with in today's life are based of other people's things. We see something and we think that this is the case for us. This is with the aging, guys. Aging. Humans don't have to age the way we think we have to age. It's just that we have been seeing aging for so long, the way people age, and we think that this is how we are going to age. And so it's almost like a program that runs in our mind. But it shouldn't be that. The case is you need to decide for yourself. I don't have to look that way after giving birth. I don't have to age the way other people age. I don't have to heal something in 5 months. I can heal it in 5 minutes. So basically, you have to question everything for yourself and decide whether you want it in your reality or not. Okay? Another example with revision for SP. You know, let's say you had a fight with your SP. You imagine that fight never happened. Now, with this, when it involves feelings of, bitterness and resentment and negativity, people are holding on the old vision. They're not able to forgive. And real forgiveness is the ability to forget of what happened. I will make another video on this because it's longer to explain, but just in very short. The way you can forgive someone is by, and that may not sound very, easy to some people, but that's the way I do it, is this. You recognize that the reason for this fight, let's continue with this example. The reason for this fight is because something existed in your awareness from your past, not necessarily from your current state. Don't forget that. You may have changed your state. You may be a brand new person, but you still experience versions of other people from the past. It sometimes takes time for those people to switch, to change, and so on. So the way I forgive is to recognize that it's not them that they behave this way. It's me, and at some point that I have imagined them to be that way. And now I have got to a high level of self-awareness. I have recognized that my fault, it's not really a fault, but my, involvement in this, and that they have played their part. Okay? And this is how I recognize it's not actually them. It's more me. So I disregard what happened, and I only focus on the love, the joy, the good moments. And instead of a fight, I will see me and my partner, I'm giving an example with me and my husband, holding hands, let's say, saying to each other that we love each other, having joyful moments, just for a few seconds. Don't indulge in long daydreaming stuff. No, you don't have to. Now, with the fight, as long as you stay with the new revision of of what happened, the fight, it never happened. And do you know? They will come to you, and they may even not remember that they had a fight with you. Because I had these cases with my husband. He behaved like we never had a fight. And I'm like, oh. I'm not commenting, but I've seen it. Okay, I'll finish this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.